morning long. Um, Again, my name is Jesse. I'm going to be checking some things, and no, I'm not at my best right now. I spent the morning struggling with this, what I'm going to call garbage. Um, what I was going to talk about today is irresponsible behavior. Go through some overviews on mental health because I do believe that it is necessary to continue to um, discuss these issues, get them into the framework because a lot of the information that is surrounding us, a lot of the information that is surrounding us is not healthy information. And it's information that is used for the specific purpose of attempting to manipulate us into a particular behavior. We're not being entertained, we are being brainwashed and brainwashed to a political ideology. And I would have, and I have, well, I don't have that much. Excuse me. As I cough, I'm going to try to drink to minimize the coughing. Let me see here. I got to check something, so just bear with me. And see, I'm trying to see if things are working the way they're supposed to be working, because if they're not, I'm wasting my time, as I found out earlier this morning. It appears that Microsoft updates messed with my encoder that I was using before, so I had to update and try to find a way to make this work. Right now, I can't. Let me see here what I'm looking for. I'll find what I'm looking for and then I'll move on. I know it's not fair to the audience to be okay. So here we go again. So what is it that we're all trying to do? We're all attempting at somehow, some way to find a life not only that is appealing, but that is healthy. If you look at things, and don't mind the mess, I'll try to fix things on the next time. I'm just frustrated that I was trying to do things and things were not working out. But it is essential to understand that we're trying to do things, that give us a pleasant life and help us to be people who we want to be. And there's a lot of times that information that we're utilizing isn't the best information. This year I added, and I should have, it's been an evolution, so I should have added this term a long time ago. But in reality, the way to live a healthy life is to employ fun, to have fun every day. Um, is it hard to have fun? It appears that it is because a lot of people are stressed out. If you go just by the measure of the level of depression and anxiety, or a combination of anxiety and depression, then it is obvious that a lot of people just don't know how to enjoy their lives. If you gauge the way people drive and what is known as road rage, there's a lot of people who are not getting the best out of the life experience. And that has consequences. It has consequences for the individual, but it also has consequences for society. And I know that we don't want to talk in terms of morality and correct behavior and what is it that we're supposed to, you know, do with a member of society that doesn't cooperate. Also, got to warn you that it's very, very muggy, humid, and hot. I cannot turn on the air conditioners because all you're going to hear is air conditioning. But And I finally figured out the coughing. The coughing is due to allergies. I never had allergies, but apparently I have allergies now. So whatever's in the air will make me cough or give me sinus problems. Okay, um, so when I was developing this, what I call video essays, um, I was wondering what it is exactly that people will accept and what it is that people will not accept. Because we are told that we cannot judge people under certain conditions. But when you're talking about individual morality and how it helps, how it contributes to group morality, how it contributes to the culture, you're going to have to point people out. You're going to have to point out murderers, rapists, thieves, people who harm other people. You're going to have to point out gang members. You're going to have to point out individuals who come into a country without having the legal right to come into that country. And unfortunately, for a lot of people, you just can't do that. But let's begin where I was going. I said that I must focus on what is first. What used to be first, I'm not going to talk about anymore for whatever reason. But when you're dealing with mental health and you want to stop anxiety and you want to stop depression, it's a good idea to understand what it is you're feeling. And it's also a good thing to learn how to manage emotions. Attitude contributes to mood. Mood contributes to behavior. I want to focus on how it is we can get what is good in life and not be so obsessed with what is bad in life. In our society, in our culture, we are being made into angry people. Look at whatever it is you want to look at. Doesn't matter. Look at television programs, movies. I just finished watching some movies, rather vulgar language, a lot of anger, a lot of hate, a lot of people who wanted to hurt other people. And, excuse me, and it's so apparent that information manipulation, I can call it media manipulation, I can call it information manipulation. Well, we're being manipulated by the information that we're being given. And the information that we're being given not only is it negative, it is violent and aggressive. It's harsh. It makes you feel bad. And we're being turned into people who want to hurt our neighbors. But we can turn it around because we can very easily understand our emotions, manage our emotions, and start working towards better emotions. I've said this before. I was listening to a radio program and there was a person there who said that you cannot control emotions, emotions just happen. That's absolutely wrong. If you're feeling angst or anxious or nervous or you're waiting for something bad to happen, you don't have to. You can put yourself in a frame of mind that is relaxed, that gives you peace, and that will allow you to enjoy life. I start with, under the most extreme cases, I start with what I call, I can't even remember, relaxation therapy. Got to remind myself of my own psychology. And the reason you want to start with relaxation is because if you're anxious, your heart is racing, a lot of blood is getting to the brain, you're not able to concentrate. And you need to be able to concentrate in order to start working with your thoughts. Because thoughts lead to emotions and sensations, which lead to behavior. And most of us, we can have, a little discomfort, excuse me, with our spouse, drink. And the world's not going to end. But the reality is you don't have to live that life of discomfort. In a marriage, you should be able to have fun while you're in your home, and your spouse should be able to have fun while he or she is in their home. And in reality, it shouldn't be that you occupy one corner of the house and they occupy another corner of the house. There should be a certain degree of togetherness. And when people are not taught to have positive attitudes, to see a spouse as a source of simple pleasures in life. It doesn't necessarily have to be sex, even though healthy sex is part of a relationship, a romantic relationship. But you can also talk to each other. You can joke around with each other. You can, hug or embrace a person. You can take joy and pleasure in your children. When we look at the negative, all we can do is see what's bad in life. And when all we can do is see what is bad in life, then we're going to feel bad. But we don't have to. If we turn those negatives around into positives, if we appreciate our home, we keep our home clean. Obviously, not living up to that idea today, but it is a way of living life. And I want to make sure to get this in before I move on to the politics and what else is happening. Because I'm going to combine it all, hope to combine it all. I've been asking myself to do this every day, just come in and talk about what I saw. So we are negative because we want to be, and because with the media that we encounter, that we are exposed to, gives us those ideas. And those ideas lead to very bad emotions. But since we're in charge of our thoughts, we can very easily leave the negative alone and start thinking positive. When we say we don't have anything, we really do have a lot. We have friends and families. We have our ability to think. And this is part of what I've incorporated into my psychology thesis, is that we are in charge. We're in charge because we can think, we can organize, we can plan, and we can act. We don't have to feel bad. We can say, today I'm going to have a nice meal and I'm going to enjoy it. Today I'm going to listen to music that I enjoy. Today I'm going to watch some television that is healthy and pleasant. And today I'm going to put myself in a frame of mind at my place of employment where I'm not looking at the negatives, but I'm looking at the positives. I'm going to do the best job that I can. I'm going to be a peaceful person. I'm not going to give bad looks to anybody. And not even going to let anybody, destroy my personal joy. See, that's a choice. We don't have to compete. And let me go ahead and add this admonition that the only person that we control is ourselves. I control me, you control you. I may want the people around me to be of a certain nature, but the reality is that they're not going to be. And because they're not going to be of that nature, I have two choices. I either mind my business and focus on my personal joy, or I keep reacting to their signals, which I'm interpreting as rude and obnoxious. It's my choice. They're going to be rude and obnoxious whether I choose not to accept that. And that's very important, Excuse me. I know I should have more, but I was just so frustrated. I wanted to come in, do the tape, and move on, just so I can say I did it. And the invisible forces didn't win. But it is a choice. They're going to be miserable people. They're going to be horrible people. We got to ask ourselves, why do we want to respond to them? I've always said, well, lately I've been telling people, look, the only time we really need to be concerned about our neighbor is when our neighbor is moving in our direction with the intent of harming us. Other than that, our neighbor's miserable way of living, it's their own miserable way of living. You can't fix it. You can't do anything for them. So when you're organizing your life under a peaceful, healthy, enjoyable spirit, you got to understand that some of those people are not going to change. You may have family members who are not going to change. You may have friends who are not going to, or people who call themselves your friends, who are not going to change. So the only person that you control is yourself. That's important because you're a very powerful person. You have the ability to think, organize, plan, and act. So if you're organized around the idea of health and being positive, finding what's good in life, being a nice person, being a respectful person, being a polite person, being a meek and humble person, um, then you're going to have a better life experience. I'm going to say it again. We have the ability to think ourselves positive. That's when I started meditating on it and figuring out that, okay, it's helpful to have a positive attitude. It's helpful to have hope. And you should have hope because you should believe in yourself. You're in charge of yourself. You're in control of yourself. You can take the small steps to accomplish your goals. And if your goals are to have a better spirit, to feel better, for your mood to be a more happier mood, you can do that. So you should have hope. You should believe in yourself. You move from positive to hope, realism. Okay, life is what life is, and sometimes we forget that. However, life doesn't have to be bad. We can be grateful for what we have, and we can enjoy what we have. That's healthy. That's very important to understand that that is part of our who we are. If we want to be negative and if we want to go around saying we don't have anything, that's also part of who we are. That's also part of who we can be. But it is better. It is a better mindset to appreciate what we have and to be grateful for it and to take care of it and to enjoy it. You know, here in El Paso, Texas, radio is not that great, but I can find a lot of music I enjoy on the internet, on YouTube, and I can listen to it. I can also find a lot of other entertainment that I consider healthy that don't put bad thoughts in my mind. So we move from positive attitude, having hope, being realistic, okay? And then it's one of these things where we gauge our mood. Every day we're going to be in a different mood, and every day we're asking something of ourselves. Some days we want a hamburger, other days we want a sub sandwich. You know, some days we may want chicken for dinner. Other days we're going to want a steak. Other days we're going to be in this mood, and then we're going to be in that mood. There's days that nothing's going to bother us. It's going to be a great experience. But you got to gauge your mood so you can say, okay, I'm moving in the direction of being depressed. That's mood, emotion. I can find some entertaining things that will keep me concentrating on what's good, like good music, whether that be classical music. I would not say that you could get any positive benefit from gangster rap, but hopefully you know how to choose pleasant, enjoyable music that not only has, melody and harmony that you can enjoy, but also has lyrics that are good lyrics. And it is a personal choice. And I say that because young people don't want to hear old people criticize their music. But if I had listened to the music that I was listening to as a young person with the critique that I have today, I honestly would not listen to that music. Because when you listen to it, it's promoting drug use, devil worship, what else? I'm forgetting the other one, and perversion. Now, you may say, well, you're just, this kind of a person that doesn't want anybody to have sex. No. I've studied it. I've meditated on the issue. I've, looked at exactly what is it that contributes to a healthy individual. And I just realized the mistake I made, but I think I can get by on it. I'm laughing because I know it's funny to me. But, okay, so in this gauging of a mood, you're gauging your mood so you can say, okay, I understand that I'm starting to feel a little fear. I'm starting to get a little anxious. I'm going to start doing healthy things, pursuing simple, healthy pleasures of life. So instead of focusing and obsessing on the anxiety, I can practice good, healthy behaviors that are going to calm me, going to relax me, and I'm not going to be so anxious. And you have to be taught how to do this. It has to be an everyday thing. Every day we have to remind ourselves not to go down to that, what I call, again, I got to remind myself of the elements in my own psychology. But I remind myself not to go to a dark corner of negativity, not to assume the worst at all times. There's some good, and again, there's things we control, there's things we don't control. I would have to say in relationships, if somebody is making you feel bad, a friend, a romantic partner, or family member, you want to put distance between you and that person. Um, where I conduct business, I've known those people over 15 years, but I don't talk to them because they're just horrible human beings. And even in their age, they're almost the same age as I am. Um, they haven't changed. They're probably never going to change. They're not going to change their perspective to a nicer, kinder perspective, to a healthier perspective, where their day is the day where they're deliberately pursuing fun, and they're deliberately pursuing fun by employing simple, healthy pleasures of life, like good meals and music and friends, recreation. It isn't all about work and coming home. We're people that get burned out. We don't like monotony. We like different things. But if we're going to pursue different things, then they should be healthy things to pursue. So I wanted to get this in, and I think I did a very good job of getting to the basic themes of living a balanced life. And I've been hearing people use the word balance. I've written articles on balance. And I was wondering, well, do people know what balance means? Balance means is putting all the things that are pulling at you, that are all the demands that you have to deal with in a healthy perspective. You have work, so work, your home life, your family life, your friends, your personal pursuits, your enjoyments have to be healthy. That's balance. That all your needs and demands in life, challenges in life, you're putting them in a healthy perspective, so you remain happy, peaceful, no matter where you're at, no matter what you're having to confront. Okay? Now, since I've got in the mental health part, now I'm going to go right into the political part. And I've been talking and observing. Mr. Trump had some demonstrators at his rally, and they were, causing mayhem. If I have something to say, I write an article, I produce a video essay. If I'm having a conversation with a person, I have meditated on the issues enough to be able to explain why it's so important that we start to look at things different than the ideas that have been put in our heads by those who manipulate information. Democrat, liberal manipulate information, conservative, Republican manipulate information. And we want to know what is actually going to help in the individual life and what is going to help in the group life, society. That's what we're working for. I was trying to tell somebody that, it is like a plane flying over their head. I guess I should say I, and I guess I got to excuse, please excuse the mess. I was just so frustrated that I said I'm going to make this video. No one's going to stop me and look like the forces, the invisible forces, were doing everything possible to stop me. But I think I got it somehow. But I have a personal interest in contributing to a healthy society because it affects how I can live my life. If my neighbors are angry, enraged, looking for someone to harm, that definitely affects my life. Now, I can't control everybody, but I do believe that we have the ability to prepare to be attacked, and we should prepare to be it if somebody attempts to attack us. And you have to use the law. You have to know what weapons you can carry, and you have to know how, when and how to use your weapons if that should be required of you. Now, what makes the individual a healthy, productive person who can succeed at what he or she wants to succeed? I think I outlined it at the beginning of the video. That's why I wanted to include mental health, because how we feel, our mood, our thoughts contribute to our behaviors. Whether we will or not graduate from a university has to do with our personal nature, how we were taught to confront the challenges of life. If we were taught to confront the challenges of life with a negative attitude, we're not going to do that great. We're going to struggle a lot, and if we get through it, we're not going to come out a healthy person. So we're not going to be able to take advantage of everything that we work so hard to earn. When you have actually earned something, you value it. You give it meaning. It's special. It's something you're willing to take care of. It's something you're willing to conserve. I heard a long time ago in a radio interview, a person who said, I was not a conservative until I realized I had a lot to conserve. And if you're building a family that includes you and your spouse and your children and your home and your careers and your vacations, and whatever you bought for yourself, you earned it. You can buy it. If you want to buy a 70-inch television and you can afford it, you earned it. If you're going to put it on the card and drive yourself into debt, you have not earned it. There even has to be balance in managing money. So, when we want to build a healthy society, we have to understand that the attitudes of the individual are going to contribute greatly to how much success those of us who want to build a healthy society are going to have to use. Why we're here, I don't know. It's evident to me that there are forces that want to get people to believe certain things so they will behave in a certain way. And that behavior is to be angry and to have, what's the word, animosity towards your neighbor. Okay? I'm never going to agree, no matter who it offends, I am never going to agree with the homosexual lifestyle. Now, it's not my life. I'm not going to petition the government to harm anybody in the homosexual community. But you're never going to convince me that that's a healthy way to live a life, or that's a natural way to live a life, or that's a life that should be lived, taking into account who created the universe. But it's not the most important issue in society. We can be peaceful if people leave our churches alone and we leave them alone. We don't have to coexist. So there's things in society that are always going to have it's going to create a distance between people. But for the most part, the basics, getting a job, earning enough, paying our bills, being responsible with our money, raising our children well. No, I don't have children, but I think that what people lack in is perspective, because it's not hard to make the life of a child healthy and happy, where they're laughing and they feel safe and secure and nobody's harming them. It's not hard. We make it hard. We make it hard on ourselves because we don't have perspective. Now, I have an interest with these videos, and I guess I should make them more regular, which I'm going to try to do, but my life is so stressful that it's so hard. But I can give 45 minutes of my thoughts. Not because I consider myself a great person, but because I know that I have honed down a certain intellectual meditation that can help people feel better about themselves, have healthier lives, and by being better people, we can contribute to a better society. I listen to a lot of people, and 95% of it I consider garbage. Excuse me. I do find it interesting, though, that lately there have been people who have been trying to preach what I call positive ideation, positive psychology to me. And I find that strange, like I was having a conversation with a person who was from Mexico, living in Roswell, New Mexico, trying to do the best to be a good public relation agent for Donald Trump. And I'll get into that. But after 800 plus articles, a lot of them on mental health, I've asked myself to go through this channel. I guess it's time to take it serious and see it as what it's for. And it's to give information to individuals so they can help themselves, empower themselves with information and deal with their depression. You don't have to be depressed. Now, it's yes, you're going to be depressed. I said you don't have to be depressed, and then I tell you you're going to be depressed. But we have to understand it. It's not you. You're not different than us. You're like us. We all have challenges. There are things that are always happening in our life that are stressing us out, making us feel bad. We want this kind of life, but it seems like they are invisible forces at work trying to put us down. So we're always going to have a certain mood. But if we have the right information, then we can do what is necessary to manage that mood, emotional management. Okay? But I have found it strange that, I mean, I don't know, well, there's no way that they could know that I do these videos and I've written these articles. But, and then I started the point by saying that 95% of what people tell me is garbage, is because when they try to tell me about positive ideation, positive psychology, it's so superficial. It's not in depth. But if people understood it to the level that I understand it, then they'd be able to take whatever comes their way with a smile and with a heart filled with joy and peace and love. Lately, people bug me. I find it strange that I'm trying to help people when people just bug me. And a lot of you are very, very immature. Not only are you immature, you're very hurtful people. I don't know if you know this of yourself. You probably do, but you don't pay that much attention. But it says a lot of a person who deliberately harms someone else. The idea of the television program, The Office, came to mind. For some people, the characters, there was a group of characters, a group that was good characters, and there was a group that was bad characters. I saw that program and I said, there's nobody in that program that's a good person. Not even the one that was the principal love interest. The two principal love interests were not good people. Granted, there were people who had their own nature and probably they weren't the best nature. I'm talking about the characters in the program. But the supposedly good people would hurt the supposedly bad people. It is not my job to harm anybody. And as I was going to say, people have always bugged me. Their attitudes, how they treat others, how they put themselves above other people, look down their nose, try to humiliate people. In my business, I will not tolerate any customer trying to humiliate me. I may want their money, but there's not enough money to buy my personal self-respect and my personal pride. But there are people who do that. And I know I was going somewhere with that, but okay, whatever. But it's important to understand, again, we're in charge of ourselves, and when we're looking through life and wondering what information can we use that is helpful, we have certain perspectives. We decide what perspective we're going to pay attention to. Oh, people bug me. That's where I lost my train of thought. But lately, whoever they are, whatever their nature is, whoever I encounter, like, that's them. I I've been telling people a long time ago, you know, let's say 7 years, I was the war of life was worse. I was under attack every day. And one person who I have an okay relationship, we're talking, and this person tells me, he tells me, you shouldn't let it bug you that much. And I responded to him, it doesn't bug me. The way I'm acting, what I'm saying, it's psychology. It's what I have to do to deal with that person. Lately, I don't have to utilize, excuse me, I need to bring my system back up. Okay. I don't have to deal with people. I don't have to talk to them in a certain way. Okay, I'm going to use the word. I don't have to manipulate them so they can go away and I can continue to enjoy my life. And lately, I've been telling myself, whatever that person is going through, it's their own personal challenge. It has nothing to do with me. Why should I have an opinion of the person? Why should I judge the person? Why should I see the person as a bad person? It really has nothing to do with me. The people who want to take my money, I have to protect myself from them. So I do have to do something to get them to go somewhere else. Perfect example is I had a customer. I was sort of, giving them a break on this and that, trying to play the game. I know how the game is played, and sometimes you just have to develop a certain nature because these people, they're just not going to change. And I was giving him a break or so, and he showed up one day, and I don't have the money that I owe you, and take me home for free. Like, okay, no, it's not the way I run my business. So I take him home for less than, and I'm telling myself, I gotta I gotta do what is necessary. I gotta manipulate the person. So I never see the person again and they go off in their merry little way. I mean, that's what I did. But in most of the interactions with customers or people out on this, I really don't have to be a certain angry person so people will stay away from me. And when I see a person who and let's be honest, we could all eat less food. I remember when I think it was Chris Wallace who got in trouble because he was asked to give an opinion of, it's not Carrie Underwood. Well, he was asked to give an opinion of that person who won American Idol, Kelly Clarkson, if I'm correct. And he made, certain comment about eating one or two slices of pizza less. And he got, you know, he had to go through the social media ringer, get squeezed out and put in place because of his comments. And the reality is, what he should have said is, listen, her overweight is a sign of illness and she's harming herself. If we honestly care about people, we need to tell people, stop harming yourself, stop overeating, stop drinking, stop taking drugs. That's what he should have said. So in reality, we could all eat less, and we are becoming ugly people. Now, some of us were born the way we were born, and we're never going to be handsome, and we're never going to be pretty. But let's not make things worse. But the point being is, if you see a person of a certain weight, a certain attire, of a certain nature, we all know people like that. I keep telling people that when I used to have, you know, girlfriends and a wife and be invited to family picnics, the drunk, the emotional drunk, would somehow find me and tell me everything that's wrong with his or her life. And I go to a party to have fun, not to listen to people's problems, especially not in this manner, and especially when I know the secrets of life. I think that's sad that There's so much information out there that we can utilize that can help us live life, but all we're doing is fighting with people. And some of the articles that I wrote is I wrote down that it has to come time where we stop thinking that we know everything and realize we may just have to listen to someone else. There's no reason to listen to people like Obama. There's no reason for Obama to have ever been elected president of the United States of America. The $11.5 trillion that he added to the national debt proves he was just not an administrator, never will be an administrator. It's a person who never had a career, never had a profession. Why did he graduate from law school if he didn't want to be a lawyer? Didn't want to work in a law office. Wrote in his book that when the job that he did have, he felt sick, like he was doing something wrong. He felt strange. What kind of people feel strange at work? All of us feel strange at work. We'd rather be home lounging. But the reality is that we have to work. But here you have a person who really, wasn't governor of a state, wasn't a captain of industry, a person with a head full of stupid ideas. And the worst part about it, if he's a politician, the woman that I was talking to about Roswell, New Mexico, I told her, Obama had 2 years being a Democrat and having the Congress Democrat where he could have passed illegal immigration reform, and the Republicans could not have stopped him. 2 years. And the only reason he didn't was because of a political act. He knew that if he and the Democrats in Congress passed illegal immigration reform, the voters would vote him out of office. Because the Americans do not want illegal immigration reform. So you take into consideration Hillary Clinton. What is her idea on how to maintain the delicate balance between citizen, taxpayer, and elected official? We're not here to serve them. We're not here for them to give us a whole bunch of orders that we have to follow. Their job is relatively simple. Respect the money of the taxpayers and be responsible administrators of the money that taxpayers pay. I was telling this woman from Roswell, New Mexico, look, the person who doesn't pay taxes has nothing to lose. That person can mouth off all he or she wants about the poor and how much they need assistance. Lately, the thought that comes to my mind when people tell me about the poor is the poor need to start handling their lives. The poor need to start getting jobs. The poor need to stop thinking that those of us who pay taxes exist to help them out. Every single one of us has access to information, and the information that we utilize helps us in how we conduct our lives and what it is we're able to get from life. But you look at a person like Hillary Clinton, what does she have to offer? What does she have to offer the individual in order to help the individual achieve his or her own personal success, individual success? How can Hillary Clinton help an individual achieve his or her own personal success? It isn't through public policy. It isn't through money. It isn't through government grants and loans for universities. We have in the United States of America, the public school system is a very horrible system. It's a system that really should be undone. It's so politically corrupted. It's evil. It's sick. And it's infecting children with that evil and that sickness. So why should Hillary Clinton be president of the United States of America? Is she going to be a responsible administrator? Is she going to respect the tax dollars of hardworking men and women across America? It isn't all politics. There are some real events that are occurring and they're affecting our lives. What Obama did with Obamacare, it affects everybody's lives. It affects the quality of health care. It affects the price of health care, which affects the access to health care. And in reality, the government should not be involved. Businesses should be afraid of the customer. Private businesses should be running their business understanding that if they're selling products and services that the customers will not buy, they're going to go out of business. They should also be afraid that if they do something wrong, the customer is going to leave them and they're going to go out of business. When government is in charge, government doesn't care. Here where I live, the United States Postal Service gives horrible service. Horrible service. My neighbors get my mail, I get their mail. I mean, and things are always getting lost. And when you call, attitude and I mean just zero. What is it? They're not in tune to customer service, the value of customer service. And that's the problem with government. So when you're electing somebody, okay, so Hillary Clinton wants what? Again, she wants to tax the rich. You take money away from the rich, that's money they can't use to invest in their businesses. Who makes jobs?